Don't forget that Hamas is an ally of Hezbollah, whose patron is Iran. Washington called on Israel not to launch a ground attack on southern Lebanon. From the US perspective, attacking Lebanon on the ground would sharply escalate the regional war that began with the bloody attack by Hamas on October 7. Hezbollah was caught unprepared for the development of events since October 7 and wants to avoid an all-out war with Israel. They are shown restraint by limiting the attacks against settlements and military bases on Israel's northern border. But on the Israeli side, they say that without a diplomatic breakthrough, there will be no choice but to remove Hezbollah from the borders of Israel militarily. Israelis, from farmers to army chiefs, say that the situation in the north is intolerable. At the beginning of the fighting, Israel evacuated about 120,000 residents from the border settlements. And according to Giora Zaltz, the head of the Upper Galilee Regional Council, today the local economy is frozen. As you can see, all the shops behind me are shut down. Israel cannot let this happen, and therefore we are probably facing a full-scale war against Hezbollah. Who is Hezbollah? Who are they? The Hezbollah organization was established in Lebanon and operates from there. The terrorist organization receives broad support from Iran and Syria. By the way, Syria is right behind me over there, and Lebanon is on the other side. The Hezbollah organization, which means in free translation, Party of God, was established in the summer of 1982. The first Secretary General of the organization was Abbas Mousavi, who was eliminated in 1992. Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah replaced him and has developed the organization into a full-blown terrorist entity. The Hezbollah organization has an extreme Shiite ideology, and their charter is based on their three main goals. 1. Removing non-Arab Muslims from Lebanon by way of jihad, which is holy war against the infidels. 2. Destruction of the State of Israel. 3. Spreading the Islamic Revolution and turning Lebanon into an Islamic republic similar to Iran. So we just heard a little bit more rockets. As you can see, the sirens are now being heard in the Israeli communities. We're gonna sit here for a few minutes to wait until we hear the explosions. Okay, one explosion just fell. Second explosion, third explosion, fourth explosion, fifth explosion. People need to understand that this war is ongoing on multiple fronts. So Iran and Israel are kind of on a standstill now, but the battle between Israel and Hezbollah, which is an Iranian proxy, is ongoing at a very high intensity. In the non-Shia public, there was disapproval of Hezbollah's actions, especially amongst the Druze and Christian communities, which make up over 35% of the country's population. Despite this, and opposition from other parties, Hezbollah have strategically leveraged the internal wars in Lebanon and Syria to strengthen and firmly establish their position within Lebanese society. Iran has armed Hezbollah with a huge number of long-range missiles and drones, along with strengthening its ground forces with tanks and modern anti-tank capabilities, proving that Iran sees the Hezbollah army as the only force capable of attacking Israel if need arises. While Iran is far from Israel's borders, it still does not have an army, and its efficient VIR and long-range missiles have difficulty dealing with the Israeli missile defense systems. A missile or a drone just exploded behind me, and you can see the fire that is coming out from the ground. In the past hour, Hezbollah launched multiple missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles, suicide drones, towards the northern part of Israel. The war is still going on. And like any terrorist organization, Hezbollah also has a system of tunnels. What tunnel does Hezbollah's array include? According to estimates, Hezbollah's tunnel system is hundreds of kilometers long and reaches all the way to Syria. The depth of the tunnels reaches up to 80 meters. Due to the geological characteristics of South Lebanon, Hezbollah advanced over about 40 years of work of varying intensity to a distance of about 15 meters every month. These tunnels are apparently equipped with Fatah 110 rockets made in Iran that are intended for short-range and even ballistic missiles. Also, in a report published by the Alma Institute last June, it was noted that many of the rivers are explosive tunnels. That is, those that are sealed on one side and are capable of collapsing a tunnel on its occupants or causing landslides. For the sake of comparison, the New York Times published in January that the State of Israel's estimates from December are that the length of the Hamas tunnels is about 560 to 720 kilometers with about 5,700 different shafts. All this in a strip that is about 40 kilometers long. The Hezbollah tunnels have three main objectives. 1. Concealment. This is a way in which they can operate far from the Israeli intelligence. 2. Survival. Even if Israel locates them, it will be difficult for them to reach the tunnels. 3. Collecting an unbearable price from the IDF. If Israel wants to enter and fight inside the tunnels, the price will be so high that Israel will think twice before executing an offense. How aware is Israel of the scope of the tunnels? Israel has been aware for many years of the actual development of the tunnels, even if not of their scope. In December 2018, the IDF launched an operation called Northern Shield that lasted 41 days, in which 6 Hezbollah attack tunnels were neutralized. However, it is not impossible that there may be more tunnels that cross over the border between Israel and Lebanon. At the same time, there are logistical tunnels and escape tunnels designed to provide an answer to leaders such as Hassan Nasrallah. The question being asked, of course, is the difference between the tunnels in the Gaza Strip and those in Lebanon. The answer lies in the type of soil. The tunnels in Gaza are often made through kunkar soil, which can be defined as between sand and soft rock. In the north, it is mainly hard rock, especially in the more mountainous areas. Therefore, technology and knowledge are needed here, and Iran and North Korea, each of them, provide their role. And how is the IDF in terms of its ability to neutralize the tunnels? During the Northern Shield operation that began in 2018, the IDF poured thousands of cubic meters of concrete into the Hezbollah tunnels. This is completely different from the method that is used in the Gaza Strip, where they are blown up using Air Force bombs, explosives, or water that is being pumped inside the tunnels. All this is depending on the depth and structure of each tunnel. The rock in Lebanon is very strong. There is no reasonable amount of explosives that can blow up tunnels. During Operation Northern Shield, there were discussions about explosions versus sealing, and what kind of sealing. The sealing with concrete, like this, cost a lot of money, but achieved the goal. If the goal is to neutralize the Hezbollah tunnels, then it is better to seal them. That way you know that with 100% certainty, they are neutralized. By now, you must have asked yourself, what does North Korea have to do with it? It turns out that money and hate makes the world go round. Experts from Pyongyang arrived over the years and contributed to Nasrallah and his people from the extensive knowledge they had gained from a network of tunnels they had established since 1950, with the expectation that in time, the fighting against South Korea would resume. Beyond that, the North Koreans are experienced in keeping means underground. While Hezbollah apparently stores ballistic missiles, the North Koreans place a nuclear arsenal beneath the surface. A North Korean company called KUMID, Korea Mining Development Trading Corporation, helped build this land of tunnels of Hezbollah in Lebanon. By the way, guys, as we are filming here, we hear explosions in the background. So all of us, the crew, which you can see in a minute, are here taking shelter inside this concrete facility that protects us against incoming missiles. But let's continue. The tunnel system is divided into underground areas connecting to houses, government facilities, headquarters, and strategic points. What are strategies for a terrorist organization? Hospitals, schools, kindergartens, and of course, UN buildings. This is what these terrorist organizations are using to conduct their operations against Israel and their other enemies. These are particularly large and long tunnels. They lead from region to region. Vehicles and even medium trucks can be driven inside them. As you can see, the threat of Hezbollah on Israel's northern border is significantly larger and more sophisticated than what Hamas has developed on Israel's southern border with the Gaza Strip. Dealing with the situation isn't just urgent for Israel, but for the people of Lebanon who are tired of being dragged into the chaos caused by this fanatical, violent terrorist organization. The loss of power of Hezbollah and its partners can be seen in the fact that they no longer have a majority in the Lebanese parliament. Hezbollah has been beaten politically in recent weeks, but its military forces are still strong. That even if a government is formed from among Nasrallah's opponents and those who blame him for the country's problems, according to what we see, the organization will continue to strengthen militarily with the help of Iran and in preparation for the next round of confrontation with Israel. And we will continue to sit on the fence and figure out what is going to happen.